Hey, how's it going, mate?
Hey, there he is. How's it going, Jake?
Good, man. How are you?
I am doing great. Won't keep you for too long. Want to, of course, talk ABR and talk a little individual and talk a little music. But dude, let's start with the viral moment you had during the NHL Winter Classic.
Yeah, that was pretty wild, man. I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming. It was such a cool experience, just all around, just to be in Boston and watching the Bruins and being out in the Winter Classic, and yeah, and then just kind of stumbling upon Wayne Gretzky shaking his hand, and then the goal, the winning goal. It was just amazing. And it was just funny. I met, the guy who runs the NHL's, social media and everything, and really nice guy. And he invited me actually to come out to the game, because he knew I was a big Bruins fan. And then we my buddy shot the video, and the guy who runs NHL was like, "Hey, can I get that video?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So he posted it on NHL Instagram, and then like within I don't know 20 minutes, I just started seeing all of these other you know big hockey and sports media outlets just posting it, and then it was like on like a, I don't know, Good Morning America type of show, like a and it's just kind of funny because just like who would have saw that coming?
And did you wash your hands since shaking Wayne's hand, or have you kept it like wrapped up and in
Yeah, yeah, I was thinking about just just cutting it off and stuffing it and putting it in like a hanging it above my fireplace, just kind of to look at it.
So rad, man. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about kind of more on the individual tip and show you real quick here.
Oh, wow.
I got my own big supporter. I talked to you, what was it, a year or so ago when you first started it and wanted to get an update on Your Life Gym and certainly the Heart Support Festival too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for picking that shirt up and supporting your life. The gym's going really well, man. It's doing what I had envisioned, which is really just building some community, getting people to understand the importance of their mental health, and understanding that our physical and our mental are very much intertwined. And it's just been a really great experience for me. I'm learning a lot because I'm not, I've never been a gym owner. I've never ran a brick and mortar like business before. So a lot of the journey is growth and understanding how things work and really building a team. Um, and I'll just say this across the board, man, like to be successful in order to grow, it takes a body of people. And that's really just understanding that like we're not really intended or created to do things alone. And we need each other in order to grow and to thrive. So I'm learning that in so many different ways in my life right now currently, and it's just been really cool. Sometimes painful and difficult and challenging because I'm stubborn. I like to be comfortable, and I think I know it all. And what I'm realizing is growth, uncomfortability, and being humble, humility is really key factor in just progressing in life. And so it's been cool.
And what advice would you give to, we're in Southern California, obviously not going to make it out to the gym, but what advice would you give for people who want to get healthy mentally and physically?
Yeah. Honestly, I think the first step would be to take some time and self-reflect. Be honest with yourself as to like what are the things that you're not happy with in your life. And another thing is understanding um the lack of power and control that you have in some of these areas of your life, and then the power and control that you do have. There's a lot of situations where we look at things and we go, man, I could never have that, or that could never be me, right? And I think maybe just kind of looking at yourself in the terms of like, well, why did you just say that already? Why did you already claim this thing not being able to attain it, right? And I think if we're honest with ourselves, we can start to see like the areas that we really need to work on and the things that we can control or change about our lives. And the second thing is to act on it. So like that's the part that I think a lot of people are missing, that a lot of people don't do, is that second part, because that's the part that takes more effort. That's the part that actually will bring the change, because we can think and feel good all we want. We can go, oh man, like, man, I feel so good thinking about how I should change my life. You know, it's like, okay, cool, right? And that's good. But you've got to actually go and take that action. And sometimes that's, you know, that's the hard part. And so that's what I would recommend. And it's like, if you want to get healthy, then get up right now and go for a walk. You know, get up right now and go read that book. Get up right now and go say I'm sorry. You know, get up right now and go, you know, whatever it is, right? Just do it. You need to do it today. Do it right now. Like, I'm exhausted. We just did rehearsals for our 20-year anniversary tour.
Yep.
I've been screaming for hours. I didn't get the best of sleep last night, and literally right after this interview, I have another interview, and then I'm gonna go to BJJ. I'm doing jujitsu. It's the most tiring thing I've ever done outside of screaming for an hour and a half on a stage 5 nights a week. Um, and I'm exhausted, but I'm gonna go do it because I know that's where my growth is. And if I don't do it, I'm gonna miss out on opportunity. I'm gonna miss out on growth, that I believe is what I need in my life. And I've made that decision. And sometimes the things that we need in life are the most uncomfortable things. Because I'd rather sit here and just have a conversation with a friend and sit on my couch. You know what I mean?
Totally, totally. Yeah, I think that a lot too. Like I kind of had a little fitness awakening a few years ago, and the thing I love about it is there's so many things in life you can't control, but your fitness and your health is the one thing that you can. And if you put in the work, you'll see the results. Where so many other things in life, you don't always see the results right away.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
gotten me on my kick. I'm in love with burpees. I do 50 burpees a day.
That's terrifying to me. I mean, good for you, man. That's really awesome. That sounds horrifying for me personally, but you know, maybe jujitsu might sound like not appealing to you. But and that's the thing. That's what's cool is like you can do you your own way and get to a place that you want to be. Right? And I can do the same thing. I can go my way, and I think that that's something that, you know, for Heart Support Fest, you know, and like Heart Support, it's like, and like we all have this really beautiful journey, this really crazy story and roller coaster ride that we're on. And we have our own ways, our own paths, right? And sometimes we don't even know where we're going, but we put our heads down and we go one step at a time, right? And then we start to see, and like lights start to turn on, and we're like, holy crap, we're going this way. This is amazing. And I just feel like people, I would rather somebody do something for themselves their own way than not do something at all because they don't think it's okay, or they don't think it's the right way, or, you know, would be judged or whatever for it. And it's like that's what I think Heart Support's really trying to cultivate, is this environment of true acceptance, where it doesn't matter the color of your skin, who you're in love with, what you believe in, what you've done, or what's been done to you. And that's a pretty broad thing right there, the what we call the 5 pillars, but giving people the space to at least recognize where they are in their life and feel okay being there, and then letting them choose from an array of different, you know, ideas, thoughts, opinions, advice, experiences, be able to choose their own particular path for them to get healthy, you know? And like people have to want it, you know? And if you know, I feel like right now, like society's like I'm really just kind of tired of all this way or the highway type of thing, because it's like, dude, that's not how we work. It's not how we work. And if we keep pushing this way, we're going to keep dividing, and we keep dividing, then we're alone. And if we're alone, guess what? We won't have success, because success takes a body. And so it's like, dude, we've got to like be able to work together. And I think we just got to choose to just, I may not understand you fully. I may not condone your actions all the time. I may not agree with what you think is right way or whatever. but that doesn't mean I can't love you. It doesn't mean I can't support the good things in your life. It doesn't mean that I can't encourage you when you're on the up and up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
The shades of black and white, there's many shades of gray in between. And you know what I mean? Everything isn't black and white.
yeah, yeah, and I just want people to get well. Like that's what I want for people. I want them to be well. And if you're well, you can make better decisions. You can respond instead of reacting. You can cultivate an environment of love and understanding and grace. You know what I mean? You can champion other people. You can celebrate and exalt others when they're being successful, and you're a better friend. You're a better friend when you are well. You're a better
Mhm.
friend to the person behind you or beside you or in front of you that needs help.
Absolutely. You touched upon it and certainly want to get into it, man. 20 years of August Burns Red. When I say 20 years, what body part hurts most? Is it shoulders, back, knee, right elbow? What is it?
Uh, the whole thing, man. The whole thing is just like, um, no, in reality, man, I've spent a lot of time, you know, lately, just before bed or something, just thinking about being in this band for 20 years and how much of a blessing it is. And it was because it taught me so much about life and the world and people and myself and it married me with 11 other guys, and they're all different, and our fans, I mean, like, we wouldn't be here without them, and they have just been so loyal to us, and they've chosen to grow alongside us and with us, and I think that that's the cool thing about a lot of this is the community aspect of it. And um yeah, it's just like it's mind-boggling to me to think 20 years, and here we are, like, going on this tour, and this tour means so much to me, and I think to our band, like, it's like we made it, it's like we're here 20 years of being a band. um and we're putting out another album, like, we're not stopping, and our community and our scene has recognized our 20 years and said, "Job well done, boys." And we salute you. And we we want to encourage you by coming to these shows. I mean, these shows are selling out, and they're just like, this has just been an amazing all around experience for us. And it's just really cool, man.
Hell of a lineup you put together too, with Bleed From Within and The Devil Wears Prada, who's almost been along for the whole 20 years, it feels like.
Yeah, yeah, both those bands are doing really, really well. They just came out with relatively new releases not too long ago, and it's just it's like a one-two punch type of deal, like short and sweet to the point. Both of those bands have my respect, and Bleed Within, their latest album, the production on that is just like, we talk about it as a band. We're just like, dude, this album is so well produced. And Door's Prada, I love the direction that they went with their last record. Those are old homies. Like, again, we've been on the road with those guys, here and there, Warped Tour over in Europe. So it's just nice to have some faces that we know, and it's gonna be great, man.
We're looking forward to it. March 1st at the House of Blues at Anaheim. And like you said, man, a lot of bands go out there and tour 20 years, but all looking in the rear view. You got a brand new album, Death Below, coming out as well. Kind of curious, how many new songs are you going to fit into the set?
Yeah. So we're definitely gonna have a couple new songs in the set. That record is definitely a taste of the pandemic, as far as like emotions, feelings, where were we, what our experiences were for those 2 years when we were off the road. Lots of highs, lots of lows. And I think that I look at this record not as like a bunch of really catchy rock songs that you would hear on a radio. I think it's like, you know, this is art. These guys are musicians, and this is music, and these are feelings and emotion. It's not just like, hey, would this be catchy? Would this be really cool? Or I mean, we've done that before, and that's great, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think, I love a good, catchy, very, um, I guess simplistic structure for songwriting. But I think that, JB Dustin, particularly really took this to like another layer. It's this deeper. And then Brent, myself, and Matt, lyrically tried to get just very real. And so yeah, the album is very progressive. It's definitely dark and angry. So yeah, it's great.
I love it, man. I love the two tunes that we've heard so far, Backfire and Ancestry with Jesse Leach, which was really cool. And really cool of you guys, speaking of the pandemic and everything, to put the tour on hold and then make good with that Kill Switch, like the torch. August Burns Red tour was great to have you guys out at Riverside Municipal Auditorium. But kind of curious, man, getting Jesse on the track, was that before the tour? Did you ask him on the tour, or was it already done by the time the tour hit?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, we hadn't asked him before that tour, and I think the whole experience of that tour and COVID and what we had to do to really make that all work, really brought Jesse and myself like really together. And because there were so many differences and so many um different ways of wanting to do things and all of this stuff. And I think that like we just kind of pushed everything aside and we're like, hey, we really just want to be friends. You know what I mean? Like, so him and I just kind of like had this instant like connection. And the lyrical content for that song, really meant a lot to me. And so when I asked him to do the guest vocals for that song, I knew that his voice was going to be a perfect fit for it as far as the choruses and everything. But it was really cool that him and I had like a really deep heart to heart conversation about the lyrical content, so that he could really grasp the severity and the um just the perspective of where I was coming from. And it was really cool because I always think like if you do a guest appearance, you should honor that guest by letting them write the lyrical content for the particular section that they're going to be performing.
Ah,
That's what I like to do, because it's just like just an honor thing. And if they're like, oh no, like I'm good with just like I'm gonna scream whatever you've got there, like that's cool too. But I always like to give the artist like that opportunity. And so he did. He really spent some time on it, and he came into the studio. He drove in, and it was Brent and myself and Grant McFarland, who's the vocal engineer. He's one of the engineers for us. And Jesse goes, okay, I don't know if you guys are gonna like this, but like this is what I came up with. And we're like, okay, so we press play, hear the song, and he just rips his idea. And I look at Brent and I'm looking at Grant, and we're all just like kind of grinning, because we were like, oh my gosh, like this dude is such a pro. Like he just came in here, took no time at all, knew exactly what he was gonna do, knew why he was doing it, and he sounds angelic. Like he's just got this voice that's just so good, and he really knows how to manipulate it. I was just thoroughly impressed. And yeah, I think it came out really, really well. It's definitely one of my personal favorites on the track. I mean, excuse me, on the record. And probably one of my favorites of all time, just
wow.
because of what it really means to me. And having a legend like Jesse on the record is just like, you know what I mean? It's just super cool.
Rad that he did the video too. I mean, it's one thing to do the record, but he actually took the time to do the video too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another like salute. It's like, and that's what I'm saying, man. He's just the real deal. He's a real artist. He's very compassionate for humanity and people, and he's humble, and he's a legend. He's a rock star, dude. And it's like you don't find guys like that around anymore.
Totally, totally. And it's funny. I with Backfire, I noticed on a couple other tunes too. Brent playing bass, and I was kind of curious. Is he playing a lot more bass? Is this because Dustin's writing more riffs on the new album?
Yeah, so I think I don't Dustin definitely writes a lot more. Um, and JB and Dustin, they kind of share, the writing. A lot of times, they'll write together, or like JB will be like, "Hey, I've got this section for the song. I'm gonna throw it your way. What do you feel on this?" And they kind of just put their heads together and work through things. And I think it's honestly just like an honor thing. I think that, Dustin writes these songs, so he's gonna play them, and Brent's gonna, play the bass, just which I also think is kind of cool because I'll be playing the bass on this tour. I've done it previously a couple times before, and I just think it's fun for me to be able to play an instrument because I never get to, and I'm just running around with my head cut off. But I also think it shows a little bit of that diversity within the camp where it's like, hey, you can play this and we can play this and we can switch this up and move things around. So it kind of adds some depth to the live show as well.
So if you're playing bass, is that going to be a 3 guitar attack then?
Yeah. Hmm.
Bitchin'. Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
I love it. Dude, I loving the videos, although Ancestry kind of heavy. I was hoping that there's at least one more kind of bloodletter type of video with you guys kicking some ass coming in off of the new album.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that because things have gotten so like busy. So I'm not sure that we're gonna be releasing anything else before the album comes because
Mm,
it's coming up pretty soon.
yeah.
But there might be something that we can sprinkle in last minute. But yeah, it's just been a ride, man. We're just that's one of the things that I love about August Burns Red is like we just don't stop. We don't like to mess around. We're very much to the point, like, hey, let's do this, let's get it going. Like, and we're always trying to think of like just fun, unique, cool, different ways of being able to engage our fans,
Well, I got to say, man, the System of a Down cover last year was sick as well, and it gave me kind of a new perspective on the song, and also got me to kind of thinking too, because we're an old school radio station. We do mandatory Metallica every night, which you're going to be a part of. And I was trying to think, man, if Jake had to cover a Metallica tune, what do you think it would be? What would suit your voice? What would you want to do, man, if you had to do a Metallica tune?
I have no idea, man. I mean, I'm not honestly, I've never been like a massive Metallica fan. I obviously have mad respect for, where they've come from and the fact that they basically started this whole thing, you know what I mean, that we're doing here. But
Right.
I just always I don't know, man, like I I don't know what song would be like something that I would be able to do. Because he's got like this, yeah, like a at the end of everything. I don't know. I got nothing, man. I got nothing.
Nothing comes to mind. Not one song comes to mind.
Not off the top of my head. Plus, especially when you got me on when you got me like, zeroed in like this, it's like now I'm shaking, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, hurry up, think of something quick. And then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna be like, all right, man, talk to you later. And then something's gonna come to me and I'll be like, oh yeah,
Oh, I should have done
duh.
Fire with Fire or something. Fresh
Yeah.
Joint. Who knows? Well,
Yeah. My question back to you is, what song do you think, if I were to cover a Metallica song, what song would fit well for August Burns Red?
I think any song that you do would turn into an August Burns Red song. But I would like to hear Blackened.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm gonna write that down.
Ah, I like that. I like that. That'd be sick
Yeah,
to,
see.
like I said before too, man, with that System of a Down cover, you guys kind of, I didn't pay attention necessarily before to the guitar riff going out of the chorus back into the verses, and it really like stood out to me and gave me a whole like different perspective on that song. So that's kind of why I think it would be cool to see what you guys would do a Metallica tune.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is cool, man. We would we would probably, yeah, I think that might actually be a cool idea. I'm gonna bring it up to the boys because again, we like doing that kind of stuff here and there and just trying to, especially if there's like a little lull and like, oh, we're not gonna be touring right now in this moment. Like maybe we could, go in the studio and do something kind of fun. So yeah, I'll pitch
Love
it.
it. Beautiful, man. Thank you so much for the time. Can't wait to see you out there at the House of Blues Anaheim on the 1st of March.
All right, sounds good, man. We'll see you then, brother.
Peace.